Hello, hello, hello! Welcome, everybody. Hello, hi. Welcome to our inaugural episode of The Role and the Player. We're taking a deep dive with some of your favorite characters and the fascinating minds behind them. Today, our presence has been graced by the epitome of Southern hospitality. Jordan Akridge is an enigma, walking along the tightrope between civilian and criminal life. Upon first meeting her, one would never expect that the affable and charismatic personality has some of the most delectably spicy drama, intrigue, and scandal following in her wake. Join me in welcoming Jordan Akridge.
Hello.
Jordan, introduce yourself to the people.
I am Jordan Akridge. I have been in the city since late December 2023, and I am so happy to be here.
And we are delighted to have you here. Why don't we do a quick overview? Give us a cliff notes of your time in Los Santos.
I was hired very quickly once I came to the city to be a receptionist for MRPD for Shift 2. I didn't even fill an application. So I took that position. I did that for about 7 or 8 months until I had a bit of a falling out for various reasons. And then also had a situation where I was kidnapped, taken to Polito, little Stockholm syndrome, this and that. And then moved through it with therapy. And now back in the city as a court clerk, city clerk, but also trying to do more good in the city as best I can. So I do work as a DFC therapist. Again, I'm city clerk, and I'm a Mosley's master mechanic and can sell you a car.
Fascinating. Would you be willing to dive in a teeny bit more as to what led to your departure from MRPD?
So at that time, there was a bit of a Patriot Act situation. The mayor that was working with us, Maximilian Thoroughbred, he had set up shop pretty much in the lobby. I was a victim of someone that wanted to take my life. They were not well, and they wanted to kill someone else. And I filed a report. I was told, Jordan, like, we can't do anything to help you. Pretty much, you just need to be careful. Considering how many times I'd been taken hostage when I was off duty, I had just no faith. And so the information that I got from being on radio as to what was going on with all the stakeouts, I did leak information. In the end, though, I admitted to it before they knew that it was me.
Mm. Well,
it's very much a gray area.
As are many things.
Indeed.
Now, next question for you. You somewhat went over it a little bit, but what does your average day look like?
Typically, I wake up in my apartment, if it's been unless it's been a good night, so to speak. No, I'm just kidding. No. Now, typically, I wake up in my apartment, I check my messages to see if anyone has said anything, and a lot of times they have. But it's mostly people that want things on a short-term basis, which can be frustrating. Because everyone needs their beauty sleep. Anyway, so I check my messages and go get some food if possible. Sign into Mosley's, sign into City Hall, and then go from there. Typically go up to Scraps, see if I can approve any items. And it's just, okay, for lack of a better term, it's a shit show from there. It just is what it is. I would love a chill day, but the chill day doesn't find me. So.
Well, especially as the multi-hyphenate that you are, a man that you are, I understand you're probably very much in demand.
I don't know why, honestly, but thank you.
Well, especially as someone who, to some degree or another, has your hand in many pies, for lack of a better phrase. You travel around a lot. What
Mm.
is your favorite spot in San Andreas?
I have two. Um, One is it's like I don't want to say it's a grotto. It's like an alcove though that is close to the power plant on the far east part of the city. There's these giant rabbits there. Also, there's typically some boats and jet skis. I really do like that area. Unfortunately, I was told by someone that people are typically killed there, so that kind of ruined it for me. The
Mm.
other place is it's very far west of of the on the island. It's close to Polito. You can see the at night. You can see the dolphins that glow in the dark from there. It's kind of close to where the lumber, uh, where that area is. But yeah,
Ah,
I like very scenic areas.
sounds like a nice peaceful getaway from what is
Yes.
usually a hectic day.
Yeah, as long as there are no murder kitties, that's
Mm. Quintessential challenge to enjoying nature.
indeed.
Well, pivoting slightly, wandering minds want to know what motivates you? What are you passionate about?
I think that I've tried to make it as transparent as possible. That I've only ever wanted to do good in the city. However, my approach to that has changed, and my view of that has changed as to what that entails and what that means. I still want to do good in the city, but it's just it might look different for other people, but that's also because they haven't experienced the things that I have. So at the end of the day, though, I do want to do good. I do want to make a net positive change. It's
Hmm.
just maybe not how others would view it.
Especially in a place that tends to prize, violence as a
Indeed.
motivator and a solver of things, that's gotta just add a whole other level of complication to what you're trying to do.
Yes, I mean, and especially with the gaslighting too. Like I know that people try to do right by me by gaslighting me and trying to protect me, but is that really doing me any good?
Mm.
I'm just not sure. But yeah.
In those situations, do you find that it might be safer for you to kind of play a bit dumb to protect yourself, or do you ever feel the inspiration to sort of like speak up and push back a little bit, even if it puts you in a more difficult spot?
I feel like you're reading my mail, so to speak, in that regard, because yes, I do actually. I do play dumb a lot of times. I do lean into the what is it that Edgar said, the Helen of Troy narrative. Or as someone else would say, the succubus narrative. Yes, I do lean into those things. Just so that people see me in a much less, I don't know, intrusive light, or whatever.
Mm.
I because if you it's easier when you do that. They don't know what to expect. And so when you come out, like I know exactly when I quit MRPD, um, Slacks was stunned. And that was honestly that actually kind of told me what I was capable of.
That's a difficult dichotomy to tread. I know in my intro, I, talked about you treading the line between civilian and criminal life, but being someone who is in what are objectively some pretty high level government positions, to have to, in a way,
Mm.
play your own little personal game of politics, personal game of survivor to navigate things is, do you ever find that it gets easier, or is it just new challenge after new
No,
challenge? Mm.
it's new challenge after new. Like currently, my most recent challenge would be dealing with Nino.
Mm.
I did not expect him to be so abrasive towards me. That really did take me off guard because I think that a lot of people would confirm it's easy for me to be able to charm someone in the city. It has always been kind of easy for that until they realize that I might either be too much for them to deal with or I'm just not genuine.
Mm.
So with Nino though, that really shocked me because he just came out. He had no qualms with just telling me outright how he read me to filth, honestly. So for lack of a better term, yeah, he did. And so but I also it's hard. It is hard to deal with knowing things and not being able to do anything with it.
Hmm. It sounds like sometimes when the charm falters, for lack of a better phrase, it sort of puts
Mm,
you in a position of vulnerability to have to pivot.
exactly. Yes, exactly. And that's the people that I can't read in the city are the people that are immune to charm from me. And there honestly there
Hmm.
should be more people like that.
There should be more people like that. Elaborate for me.
Another example, I mean I can give you another example, Brandon Valentino. He cares for me as a person, but he is immune to charm or whatever, and I do find him hard to read. Um, I love the challenge though of someone in the city that I just struggle with reading.
Hmm. Hmm.
It really does work well as opposed to just people that are just blindly, I don't know, mesmerized by was it? Is it the accent? Is it the hospitality, like you said before? I don't know, but what do you do there? I need a challenge. I mean, but Nino though, too much of a challenge. I need him to reel it back in.
Hmm. Well, speaking of absolutely undeniable charisma, who are the three people in San Andreas who are the most important to you?
Wow, this is honestly a great question. Okay, first of all, Winsong.
Mm.
Winsong is someone that has helped me shape my life in the city, whether or not she knows it, but it is true. Secondly, I would say Ashton Starlingham. That is probably my oldest friend in the city now. Even though we had a bit of a falling out, I don't want to say falling out. We just, I have always, I've always tried to protect him in any way possible, and so that did look like alienating myself from him for a while. But
Mm.
he is very important to me in the city. And the last one would be my current boyfriend, Phil. So, yeah.
How did you meet Phil?
He saw me out in front of the apartments. I was looking for a ride, and I wasn't looking for a ride actually. I needed a ride because my bike at the time was gone. But now he was like circling the building, and he was gonna take me somewhere. And I was just in a mood, and I was like, "Well, where are you going?" Otherwise, because I didn't know who he was. And it's very rare for me to not know people in the city. You know what I mean? Like when you've been in the city for a long time, over a year, you typically know just about everyone or who they're affiliated with. I didn't know this person. I didn't know the group that, they might be um, affiliate, anything like that. And so it was a good conversation, and we just went from there. And yeah, it was a good connection.
Hmm. Well, I guess speaking of making connections and first impressions, what impression would you like to leave on others?
Hopefully a positive one, but I know that that is difficult considering that I seem very fence sitting or
Mm.
again, gray area. But that comes with the territory. You're in the city this long. It's not at all what you originally think it's going to be. When I first came to the city, this is the biggest city I've ever been in, honestly. I'm from nowhere, Alabama. And I come to this city and obviously, again, I'm in over my head. I have experience in doing things, but it's been very much trial by fire. I I've learned a lot along the way, but my viewpoint on things has changed dramatically.
Mm-hmm. Why don't I'm actually quite curious. How exactly has your POV changed since you moved to Los Santos?
I would say that I am much more chaotic neutral as opposed to lawful neutral.
Mm.
There are just certain ways that you have to deal with things, obviously. Like, I am shocked to wake up every day in Los Santos at this point in time, to be real. It is what it is. I've lost so many friends along the way for much less reasons than than what I've done to other people. I went up against Edgar and what his whole goal was with trying to bring someone back, and it's just on and on. Sonia Summers, someone that was very very scary, very very scary. I have both my arms still. I know Margot and Randy. It's just on and on. I don't know how I've been so lucky, but I have been. So I don't know if it has to do with chance or the yap ability. I'm not really
Mm.
sure.
That's speech plus 100. Well, I think that segues pretty nicely into my next question here.
Okay.
And you somewhat answered this already, but I kind of want to hear more of your thoughts on this. What is one thing you wish people understood about you?
Mm. Hmm. That there is such a thing as, like you said, Southern hospitality, a Southern belle kind of person. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not as serious as you think it is.
Oh, in what way?
Um, I'm not out here trying to sleep with everyone, and that's another thing.
Mm.
Like, I know I'm sorry to be crass in this moment, but it is very something that it's important for me to convey this. I believe because I do know the connotation that exists with my name in the city at times, or what people may think of me. But no, like it's possible to just be charming, to just be a debutante person,
Mm.
to just exist in this way, and to not be doing anything that is untoward, so to speak.
Absolutely. Sometimes, all too often, people mistake friendliness for flirting when,
Mm.
friendship and having a platonic relationship can be just as valuable, if not more so, than a romantic connection.
So, I mean, flirting in itself, though, there's is without action. It's merely that. It's banter.
Mm,
And sometimes that can be the best way to either protect yourself or gain information. It is a defense mechanism. I shouldn't always need to have a weapon on me to be able to defend myself.
mm. That is so true. In a way, this connects to our next question here. Uh,
Mhm.
Tell us about a time that you messed up.
Mm. I am hesitant to say this. I,
Mm.
I, I won't go far into it, but I had just bought the house in Polito. Yeah, in a serial killer situation. I did mess up then. I should not have been on the back porch. Shot him, and it was not a good situation for me.
Ah,
That was a
wrong
that was
place
probably
at
my
the
biggest
wrong
mistake.
time.
Well, at the same time though, he had tortured two very good friends of mine. And so it did make sense at the end of the day. But yet again, I failed by the PD. Imagine that. Who could predict?
Mm-hmm. I guess I guess that does connect pretty nicely with our next question, especially with the amount of serendipitous situations you find yourself in. How would
Hmm.
your ops describe you to others?
Oh, that's a fantastic question, actually. As a menace, I think. Honestly,
A menace.
yes, I'm aware that I'm polarizing. I'm well aware that people either love me or hate me, which I think is not a bad thing, to be honest. Either they're going to defend you or they're going to just berate you, just rake you over the coals.
Mm.
So it would be that. I don't really mind the either loved or hated thing. What I do dislike is that my ops don't give me a second chance, typically.
Ah.
Or they just don't want to hear an explanation for my actions.
Mm-hmm. So, sort of that taking that first impression, like if you
Yes.
fail that, for lack of a better framework, if you fail that charisma check the first time, they don't
Yes.
they don't budge or give you another opportunity.
Like a great example of this would be Barrick. I don't think that he takes me seriously. I don't think that he was, chief of police when I was a receptionist. I think that I just wasn't able to make that connection with him as
Mm.
opposed to like Turner, Slacks, like it's just Cornwood, those three, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Hmm. In those situations where, kind of following up on the whole charisma thing, if you find that there's someone who just doesn't, and I don't want to say buy into it because it's not necessarily that you're trying to
No,
put
I
on a
get you.
salesperson face, but in
Well,
those situations, how do you.
I will say I'm selling my livelihood though, in a way. I'm
Mm,
selling my life. Yeah, like I'm selling them why I should not be attacked or hurt. How do I handle it though? I typically avoid people that I just cannot read or that I know are put off by me. Um,
mm-hmm.
yeah, so that is one thing that I do because it's hard. Like I mean, I have, like I said, I have so very little resources in order to protect myself. Well, I can get a gun license and I can have a gun on me, and then so it can be stolen.
Mm-hmm.
And God forbid I don't have the serial number down.
Yep.
It's whatever. Then the people are gonna think that I'm a party to it. I have seen so many coworkers and friends that will pass away and nothing be done about it, even when there was a murder weapon and their own lives be just broadcast 6+ months later on Twitter. It's just ridiculous. So if I can't talk my way out of a situation, I just avoid that person in whatever way possible. If I can't, then I will find someone. This sounds horrible. I will find someone that is adjacent to that person that can try to sway their mind.
Hmm. So, utilizing the connections that you've made to hopefully create that extra barrier of protection.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's still the yap apocalypse, so to speak. It's whatever I can do to get them to just to get them to listen to me and to trust me.
Hmm.
But it's very limited though, and like the people that I do truly trust, that is extremely limited. So
Listen, if there's anyone that I would trust to deploy a tactical yapping nuke, you are at the top of that list.
if I can't get them to just give me information, I'll wear them down. But yeah, yeah, thank you. That's very much that is very flattering. Thank you.
Incredible. A little bit of a pivot here. What is the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Most adventurous. When I came back from Polito after selling the house, I took a job working at the food stall knowing I probably would never get paid, but I just did it to expose myself back to the city to let people know that I was back from Polito, that I had turned my life around, that I had, been divorced and blah, 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 and all this. I think that was very adventurous because I put myself back out there after being gone for however long, and it benefited me. I got a job as a clerk, a city clerk, and however else, and people saw that I was back. So yeah, it was beneficial, but it was very adventurous and it was kind of scary. I mean, I wasn't making money.
Mm-hmm. So very socially vulnerable, and it was socially and monetarily vulnerable.
And taken hostage like 4+ times a day. But that was also beneficial because I think that I kind of reset the standard on how to treat hostages when I said that I would not be in the trunk. So,
hell yeah. If you're gonna be used as a bargaining chip, you better be treated like a goddamn
Exactly.
princess.
Exactly. So, I mean, I got in good with some people from various gangs. Most specifically, though, I did kind of, like I said, reset the standard for Cyprus and the Manor. They no longer, as far as I know, have most women just get in the trunk like that. So I'm proud of that, honestly. It's
Yes,
good to, I mean, yeah, I mean, you could be a hostage and not be treated like a second-class citizen.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
Treat me with respect.
Next question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Good job bypassing Norman. That's about it. Yeah.
That is so good.
Thank you.
You know what? Yeah, it's sort of connected to that in a way, a little adjacent. What, Jordan Akridge, what is the meaning of life?
To give more than I take. And leave things, like I said earlier, in a net positive.
I love that.
But my method to get to that, though, that's not part of the question, but it's just, that is my goal. It may not look like that is my goal to other people, but that is truly what it is.
Me, big fan of that.
Thank you.
All right. Now we are going to jump into our rapid fire round. We'll have a minute of
Let's go.
rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Give it to me.
All right. And we're off. What is your favorite color?
Orange.
Hunting or sanitation?
Hunting.
What is your favorite drug?
Alcohol.
Favorite pizza topping?
This is spicy, but not really. Pineapple.
Define yourself in 3 words.
Unassuming, ignorant, flirty.
What is your worst trait?
Being flirty.
What is your best trait?
Being flirty.
Laundromat or cash exchange?
What was the first one?
Laundromat.
Oh, well, cash exchange.
Vintage or new?
Vintage.
If you could force perma anyone, who would it be? Oh, well, we're out of time.
That's unfortunate.
So
but
unfortunate.
Thank you for that.
Now let us ever so casually dip into our Discord and chat questions section. We had some members of our live chat here on Life Invader submit some questions that they are burning to hear your answer for. The first of which is from Spot the Daction. If Jordan was mayor, what would you want to change?
Listen, we don't have that kind of time, but I did really enjoy working as a campaign manager, back this past election. As part of that, it did really allow me to think about what I would change. First of all, I would make sure that I could only guarantee things that I could follow up on, which I know that
Mm.
that's not a clear answer, but that should just say, how serious that I would take it. Like, example, his first term, he's saying, oh, I'm going to open up the pet adoption situation. There's people over here, Polito Pets, blah, blah. I'm trying to open up my cat cafe, Pussy Galore. Can't do it, not because of the name, because I can't get the pets. And hey, it is what it is. I think that my term as mayor, I would want more oversight, but at the same time, that seems like an impossible task.
Mm. I suppose this next one is a little adjacent to that. This one comes from AC Decoy. What are
Yeah.
some of Jordan's aspirations, aka backup dreams, if mayorship isn't in the future?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm not running for mayor. I'll just say that. If anything, I would run for judge. But my aspirations, I actually have been thinking about Marshall.
Really?
I have been, yes, because I trust someone that is a marshal as of late. I do like the idea though of being a shadow member of something. I don't trust all members of PD. I wouldn't want them all to know that I was a marshal, nor would I want just any civilian to know that I was a marshal. There has to be a way though to farm this information like I do and to use it for good.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Incredible.
think it would be Marshall. I just, I mean, Max had his own. Max had his own negatives, but the cabinet, I think, was a good part of his mayoralship outside of Murphy, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. But yeah, I think that you are only as strong as the people that you surround yourself with.
I think that is excellent. Next one from Firewolf Neo. If you are overwhelmed or anxious, what do you do to relieve that?
Really? I gotta out myself here in front of God and everybody. I gotta tell everybody how I am. Y'all, no, 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 no. Listen, what do you think I do? I cause a menace to men in the city. I make them hate trying to rizz up a woman that knows better. That's what I do. I'm sorry if now I'm combative, but that is what I do.
But does it work though?
Yes, it does. It makes me feel a lot better. Yes. Because you know what? It reminds me that maybe I still got it in me. Maybe I still got it. Maybe I'm not as jaded as I thought. That's all.
Mm. Speak it.
I try to. I'm very lucky though that the gentleman that I have been dating, he understands how I can be at times, and he doesn't hold it against me, but he
Mm.
does hold some things against me. So there is that.
Ooh, we actually have a live one here from Fast Laps here on Life Invader. What pet would you like to own?
Mm. Honestly, none, because I would look out for the others better if I didn't have my own. I'd be blinded by my
Mm.
own association with my own pet. Plus, that's what the men are for. They're my pets. That's why I don't need none.
Well, Jordan, this has been an illuminating discussion. Thank you so much for your time. Is there
Thank you.
anything that you would like to share to the good people listening before we end here?
I would just like to say, if you see me running for whatever office, I think that you know where my heart is. Please just consider that vote for Jordan Akridge. That's all I'm saying. Because I think that at least I'm aware of my own faults.
Mm.
There is that. I am that self-aware. But thank
In-
you so much for this platform. I really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we thank you for sharing your time, your charisma, and your intellect. Going to take a brief break here where we will be returning with our next guest. We'll be back in 5. All right. Without any further ado, we are back with the player part of the role and the player. And no one plays as well as delightfully. One of my favorite people to RP with. Let's be honest. It's
Well, thank
Lainie, the mind.
I love you.
I love you. I love you. Wow.
Seriously, you are fantastic. Thank you, though. Thank you so much for having me. I am so flattered.
It really is my honor. And this is about you, all right? If anyone tries to compliment me, I'm going to spontaneously combust.
No, seriously, I get there. No, please go ahead though, because I'm I'm nervous, but
Yeah.
this is the part that I am the most nervous about because I'm myself instead of Jordan.
Well, chat is loving you, BT dubs. So let's get that straight.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So, chat, we're gonna talk with Lainie. This is gonna be a little more of a casual version of the conversation here. So, just open up the floor for you. Hey, who are you? Who is Lainie?
I am just I'm just a random person that started watching roleplay during COVID. Got into it, applied, and took a long time to actually try to do it. And then once I did, I just got kind of hooked. Yeah.
Yeah, so for curious minds here who may not have any clue what we're talking about, and how did you get here, first off, if you don't know what roleplay is, but for the curious minds, and honestly mine, I want to hear how you define this. What is roleplay?
For me, it's the ability to play a character that is not yourself, to kind of escape into another world, so to speak. Because I do that actually. It's very, people think that I'm just, I don't know, people probably think that I'm crazy, which that's not a good, considering Jordan, that's not really a good thing to say. But it is typical for me to kind of disassociate, I guess, for lack of a better term. Like get into the character, not remember what I'm doing, not remember what she says, and unless I record it, and look back, I'm very unaware of what has happened. But yeah, it's escaping into a character for me.
And you spoke about this very briefly during the little intro bit here, but what got you interested in roleplay?
Yeah, it was COVID, actually. I can't really remember. I had honestly never played GTA, and I still haven't to this day. I've never played GTA
Never?
at all. Never. I've never played it. And this actually ties into why people would say that Jordan was quote unquote fresh off the boat. Because I don't know anything about GTA really. Like I tried to play it briefly. I couldn't drive the car.
Oh,
So which is
yeah,
funny.
that's a big part of it, I suppose.
Yeah, like one of the very first quests. But I got into it. I saw Speckle, which is Sonia Summers. I saw Murphy, and I saw Hobbit Trash, who played Caden Steele.
Really?
That was my very first subscription to Twitch, was Hobbit Trash, and I fell in love with Caden Steele.
What a bombastic intro! That I love that.
God, she is amazing. Her and Chips. Seriously, fantastic. And it was just, I don't know, like the way that she handled criticism, the way that she handled her character, the way that she wasn't scared to play a powerful woman character also. She took so much criticism though, also early on, or in general. I don't know. I was just, and then it was Jackie. It was Kiwu. And once I saw Kiwu play Jackie for 10 days, I was hooked. I just couldn't get enough of it. And so I applied right then, and that was 2018. And I didn't actually get on the server, though, until 2023.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Was it just, like, waiting for the... this is probably a boring question, but I don't care. My curiosity, it takes precedent because I'm the god of this pod.
Of course.
Was it just you like rustling up the inspiration to play on the server, or?
Well, I did visit before the quote unquote collapse, but every time I had Jordan, well, it wasn't Jordan at the time, it was my original application character. But every time that I would have that character, I would either go to court roleplay, which is my favorite thing, or she would get kidnapped from like the apartments or the airport or whatever, and it just and so once the whole collapse thing happened, I decided that I wanted to actually take it seriously. But unfortunately, my anxiety was crazy. I would lose my voice trying to actually leave the apartment. That happened for a long time.
Yeah, what ultimately got you to sort of overcome, I suppose, that anxiety?
It was just like the people that encouraged me to do it. So Siobhan Murphy, Serge Cross, and Judge Adams. They uh,
Wow.
they they spent time with me. We would get on a Discord call, whatever. I would be very upset, because I was just like, my voice, I can't talk at all. I don't understand it. I don't know why my voice is gone. And you wouldn't get it now because Jordan's such a yapper, but that's just because she's a character,
Mm-hmm.
and you just have to like throw yourself into it. But yeah, it was very difficult for quite some time. It was, and if I take a break for a week or two, I find myself really getting that same kind of anxiety again. So but it's not as bad.
Mm-hmm. I
I'm always
definitely feel
appreciative
that.
to them though. Yeah, like I owe them so much. Like it honestly, like I'm so thankful that people, did that with me. They really helped me move through it.
Hell yeah. And I, just as someone who's a casual Lainie fan, I'll have to say I really enjoy the way that you sort of like pay that forward in a way to people.
I do enjoy Jordan being a quest giver
Mm-hmm.
and a newbie friendly kind of person. You know what I mean? Like I really do like that for her. That was honestly my favorite part of her being a receptionist at MRPD. Like people coming up, that were new to the city. Like I really did enjoy that.
Heck yeah. And that ties into the next question here. What was your inspiration behind creating Jordan?
Again, Jordan was never supposed to be a long-term character. She never was. This was honestly, she was supposed to be a short-term character. But she is based a little bit on Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld, who is my namesake.
Mm.
That's where Lainie comes from. Um, I when I played WoW back in the day, yeah, that was anyway. So she's apart from that. She's apart from very young me. You know, and then also just a character that I thought in my mind because the like the background of Jordan working at Booby Bungalow, which is an actual real place.
Mm-hmm.
It is a true strip club from Alabama. It's like the only strip club that I know of from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And so Jordan was supposed to have been, but she was never a stripper. She was a cocktail waitress. And so it was this, character that I thought of kind of like, that she was so sheltered, which, I grew up similarly, but not quite like this,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just, I don't know, it's a lot of things. It's, but mostly, I will say again, Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld, and then very young me, and a product of the city, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
because she's evolved so much. She's nowhere near what she was initially.
Yeah, we'll dive into that specifically a little bit later, but this kind of segues nicely into the next question here. What are some ways that you are similar to Jordan?
Hmm. I don't want to self-report too much here, honestly, but I will
That's
say that
fair.
I was never much of a dater.
Mm.
Jordan is very flirty, very openly, she is, like I said earlier, as her as he would say, Helen of Troy, or as Ashton would call her, probably a succubus. That's not me though. That is not who I am at all, honestly.
And that kind of
I
ties into what are some ways that you're different from the characters, so I imagine
Yeah,
that falls
I'm
in that
very different.
category.
Yeah, that's not me at all. I'm just, I like to lay low in that way. I don't like a lot of attention like that. That's probably a good illustration is that I don't stream and that I have a hard
Mm.
time with even trying to. Um, but I wish I did. I really want to. I want to hit affiliate by the end of the year, which is a crazy goal. Like it shouldn't be that hard. Um, the more followers that I get, like added, accidentally, or it makes it harder.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think though that she's someone that is very confident in knowing her strengths, and
Mm.
I don't know that that is me at all. Like she knows that she can. Basically, she knows that she can pretty much charm a man, and that is, or someone that would be interested in her in general. That's just not me at all. I can't. I think doing it in role play makes it a bit easier. And I don't know why, but it is. It's just, I guess because you have so little to go on,
Mm-hmm.
other than like voices and stuff. Also, though, I will say that I've been very fortunate with the people that Jordan has role played with. They've helped me grow the character and grow as a role player.
That's lovely. What is your favorite RP memory?
Mm. It's kind of a negative one, but it was Jordan quitting MRPD.
Because that brought a lot of roleplay with it too.
That was craziness. It lasted so long too.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 3 hours. It was like 3 hours, and she got raided. It was craziness. It was crazy. But it was probably one of my favorites. It was honestly one of my favorites. Yeah, it was so good. But then, what else would it be? I'll give you another example, though. Let me think. More recently, Jordan yelling at Coyote about chastity.
Really?
Yes, and I was gonna give you that, but it's not clipped. But I do have the VOD for it. It's it's like I've never had her do that. I've never had her yell at anyone like that before, and he didn't say a word the entire time.
Whoa.
Which I thought was interesting. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably my other favorite thing. Yeah.
Would you say that like you're saying that you have never really yelled at anyone in character before? Do you think that there's some emotions that are maybe a little more difficult to roleplay for you?
I think that. So I play Jordan with an open mic, which I know is very rare that people role play with an open mic. But I think that like lends to her, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like it's because she is out of her element. She's out of her depth. That's her living in this huge city, and she's trying to, even though it's been over a year now, this is not the life that she's afforded to. She doesn't know anything about it really, and for her to openly laugh and all that, I think that really affords to the character. It makes it difficult though as well, because I really don't want it to seem like, and I think I will speak about this openly. I don't want it to seem like I am Jordan, because I'm not. I'm yapping though.
That's what this is for.
Yeah, no. This is what I mean. You and I though, we play very well off each other. So yeah, I mean, you get it. It's just, it's honestly, it's been an amazing ride for me, and I've been so fortunate. I just truly, even though I don't know if people realize that you don't have to stream to appreciate the experience. It's been so incredible for me.
In that way, how's your experiences or perspective on RP evolved since you started, especially since, you don't stream, right?
Yeah, it's been more challenging at times, I would say, because I at least record, or I try to. when I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing things, because I do like to go back, since I was saying earlier, and kind of that whole like dissociate thing. You become the character and you don't really know what's going on. Um, my perspective of roleplay though has changed because it. I've seen. I think this is a server by server basis though. I'm
Mm.
whitelisted on other servers at the moment now too. It's you just have to kind of read the room, and that is obviously very difficult for a lot of role players, and I didn't really anticipate that.
I
I
feel
think
that.
I think that if you stream, it's easier for them to, because they're gonna look back and they're gonna see you like narrate to your chat or whatever, and I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So is it sort of the weird, like having to reconcile that dichotomy between in character
Yes.
moves and decisions versus, out of character, just being someone who's just playing pretend. Not to
Yeah.
make it
I
sound
mean,
so.
it's no. You're right though. Seriously, like it's and I in the past I was thinking like I want to do a stream where I just talk about Jordan's motivations and the narrative of her, but
Mm-hmm.
I never really did because it just I keep getting like followers and stuff, and it just scares me more. It's like, what am I gonna do? Like all these, I'm just I'm overwhelmed by it in a way because for Jordan, I think that Jordan would be fine with all of it. Truly,
Mm-hmm.
she would, but she is an exhausting character, and I do take breaks and things like that. Like I think I would hope that that would at least lead some proof as to that is not me. It's a lot sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And it's good to step away, like have those moments where you're like, you know what, this character's going through a lot. I'm gonna step away just to refresh my
Yeah.
soul a little bit.
And to get back in touch with who the actual character is,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the oppression of how people treat her
That's
at times.
that's an excellent way to phrase it. Do you have any like acting or performing experience, or is this sort of the first time that you've entered this sort of realm?
I did plays when I was younger. I mean, with this accent, yeah. Of course, I did beauty pageants. I mean, I did. Yeah,
I
I'm not even
love
gonna lie.
that.
I did. I was like little Miss Wildcat, whatever 19. I'm not gonna say, but it's
Mm-hmm.
no, I do have a little bit, but not. And I actually wanted to. This was gonna be my question for you because about how improv would be beneficial towards role play, because I feel like I would be good to do improv
Mm-hmm.
just to get the experience,
I think you'd
because
be
it
excellent at improv. And I'm not even saying that to, blow rainbows up your butt. Legitimately. A key component in improv, like, of course, there is the much joked about yes and everything, but really, it's
yes
all
and is
about, yeah,
yes.
it's
Kiwu though,
the
yeah,
first
was a big part of
component.
that.
Yeah, the first component in that is listening and actually reacting to what your scene partner is saying and giving emotional value to that. And I think as a scene partner, you do that incredibly well.
Well, it also depends on the partner. I will say that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I do play Jordan as being erratic and very manic. I mean, she's horribly manic now. Obviously, she's been on a spiral. She has to be. I mean, look, she's a product of her environment. I could not play her as being the same innocent girl that she was when she first arrived. That wouldn't make
Mm-hmm.
sense. Do I take it too seriously sometimes with her? Probably, but it is important to me to be true. I do not want her to be a Mary Sue,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm very devoted to that. Like I am very serious about her not being a Mary Sue. I won't have it happen. I'm just not. She's been through too much. Um, but yeah, I would love to explore the yes and improv and things like that. Kiwo, like I was gonna say, it was a great example. That was someone
Mm-hmm.
that genuinely when Jordan and Maisie Graves, Kibu's cop character, most recent cop character, did their YAP session and went to therapy and all that, it
Mhm.
was amazing for me. And then she messaged me or whatever. I'm not gonna lie, I cried. I couldn't believe it. It was seriously, it was like
Yeah?
Jackie's whole like Burger Shot song was one of my most played songs on Spotify at one time. Like seriously, she's amazing. She's so amazing, and I just for her to be, and also Tanner because he was
Uh-huh.
the therapist at the time. I loved it, and then Tanner is on another server now, and Jordan ran into him. But it's craziness. I've been, like I said, I've been so lucky. I've been so fortunate. I've learned so much from all of you. And I cannot thank all of you enough. I can't thank you enough.
Oh,
Haley, seriously.
This isn't
You've been
about
fantastic.
me. It's about you because you're
Oh,
amazing.
No, I just want to also tell you truly because you have been. It's rare, I think, that it's multiple characters now, which is interesting. There was Chastity Marie. I would argue though that Eliza and Jordan have more of a connection.
Yeah, which I
Or-
found quite
yeah.
interesting.
Same, exactly. Even though Chastity and Jordan dressed alike, which that still to this day kills me.
So funny.
OC kills me. That picture, I almost gave you that picture, to show.
Yeah.
With the fits that are just in different colors, and Jordan's are like subdued, and Chastity's are like bright, and they see each other for like one of the first times, and it was just so good. But anyway,
Chastity was like the Lisa Frank to Jordan's. I don't even know what to call it. Just like Matisse.
God, Shift 2 was brutal. I'll put it that way. That was literally trial by fire. That was insanity. But it was so good as well. I got so much roleplay so quickly.
And you approached it with aplomb.
Oh, well, thank you. I will say though, people gave it to me. People gave me the roleplay, like Bobby Charles. Like that was a fantastic, like the Cuz, the Cuz game.
Oh,
people like that.
The community.
The community. They gave Jordan the community. What was it? They gave her They said that she'd been to community college, and she was the only one that had like a cup pass or something. And and they just loved her and everything. But she sees them, and then I just love things like that though, and I love like having her have little quirks, or it's people that I don't know. It's honestly it's been a wild ride, and I don't know what the future holds for her. But it's been fantastic.
I know it's a bit hypocritical of me because I am allergic to compliments. I break out in hives, but I need to commend you because it's not just, we can talk about people who, give RP to others, right? It's one thing to give RP, but it's another to take that RP and turn it into something, right? Because I think it's all too easy, and I know I fall into this pitfall sometimes, all too common, RP circumstance where, someone's giving roleplay and no one's really reacting to it or giving it any weight. And I think that is something that you very much excel at.
Thank you so much. That honestly means a lot because I do take that seriously. I really, really do. I think that ties into the yes and. That, and also, I know that there are other people that are like me, like Jordan's current boyfriend, even but he's very much of an includer of other people in roleplay, no matter what character he plays. Things like that, like just trying to get as many people involved, like just being a part of a group, because that's what it's about. That's what the whole thing is about. Just having everyone be. Don't isolate people. But I really do appreciate you saying that because it's. I think that a lot of people wonder what my motivation is, since I don't stream. But it's just to exist in it, It's just to maybe, just to do something that where you don't have to think about life for a little bit.
Yeah. That
You
is
know?
actually, I'm glad I didn't put this down as one of the pre-prepared questions, even though I should have, because this is actually the most burning question in my mind in general is, what is your approach to RP? It's really
Yeah.
fascinating how, regardless of the server, there is a myriad, a cacophony of reasons as to what brings people to roleplay.
I only ever wanted Jordan to be. I think this was best illustrated when she was reception for Shift Two. She was a very brief person for people to interact with, but
Mm.
she did make an impact, and that made me really happy.
Mhm.
I really loved that about her. At the same time, the PD failed her. They did, and
Mhm.
so she, again, as a result of her environment, it gets out of hand. Blah blah blah. My approach to roleplay though is to be true to the character.
Mhm.
Um, and also though to just provide role play for others, to be inclusive, to always try to be respectful, to just do as much as possible, because everyone is just trying to find their way a lot of times. It's people in role play, they may not be the most socially inept, they may not, it is what it's role playing online. It is what it is.
Mhm.
So try to just be kind. It's free to be nice. You're not hurting yourself or anyone else by being a nice person. You don't have to be an asshole role player. Like you can at least give them a chance. I mean, even if you're like some gang lord or whatever. Like
Mhm.
I've had so many leads of gangs be so kind to Jordan, and is it because she's a chick? Is it because she's whatever? Okay, whatever. But they didn't have to be nice to her. And I just want it to be paid forward. I want everyone to just see that, you need to be kind and nice. And what goes from there goes from there.
Mhm.
But give everyone the opportunity to role play, though.
I think that is a really good phrase to say, because I know sometimes, and I imagine some viewers maybe have questions about this too. Well, is there a difference between being an asshole character and an asshole role player? And I would posit yes. You can have someone who
Yes.
is an asshole character, like they're just the biggest bag of dicks on a planet, but they
Carmine's
can
a good
still.
example of
Yeah,
that.
Carmine is an amazing example. Yeah, no,
Yes.
52 Chains eats it up.
He is
He's.
so nice, though. He is honestly a nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Bobby Charles, it's another example of that. Like,
Yep.
he seriously, like, I owe so much to him because he would just come in and file nonsensical reports with Jordan for months and months and months. And one of my favorite, this is actually, I should have answered this earlier. One of my favorite role play moments was when he had Adam from the Clowns sing Nine Inch Nails Closer to Jordan in the lobby on Valentine's Day of 2024. And it was honestly horrifying, but the funniest thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was so funny. And also Bobby Charles trying to find flowers for Jordan for that Valentine's Day. The he misunderstood that flowers at that time meant weed. And so he goes and he gets weed. And he brings
Amazing.
it was just so funny. It's like Murphy Braun, another good example of that though.
Mm-hmm.
He plays an asshole well.
You know what? Another character I want to bring up that I know Jordan interacts with quite a bit is Barky, who plays Shang Lu, who
Oh
the character is
God.
objectively,
Oh God. He is
evil, a heinous, evil creature of a
yes.
man, but an
He does,
amazing role player. Even if
he
he's,
likes her.
yeah, even if the character's, objectively, fucking someone over or doing something bad, still a very generous role player that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you know that, by the way, because I have been very surprised by that whole chain of events. Honestly, like I did not expect that. When Jordan saw him at the farmhouse with
Mm-hmm.
pestilence, I was like, wait a minute, like this is. And then he was at Brandon's house or whatever, and then he's like telling Jordan, he's like, I don't want to kill you because I like you. And I was like, oh no, I don't know how this is gonna go. But Jordan and I OOC because I don't get to watch streams like I used to. I didn't know that he was ADMC, and she didn't either.
It's one of those. Oh man, it's really one of those.
It was
fun,
crazy.
Oh, that is. I love that so much. It was one of those fun RP moments where in like OOC, I remember we were having a conversation and Jordan was talking to Eliza, giving Eliza some of the tea about what's going on. And OOC, I knew that Shag was ADMC because he was one of the people that permaed her. But
yeah,
in character,
like
Eliza's
or
like,
whatever.
yeah. And in character, Eliza's like, man, he's with Tripas. Yep, that's all I know.
Yeah, so like I OOC and all that. That's another reason though why I kind of. It makes me sad that sometimes that I am on the server because I miss watching all these streams and seeing all these storylines. It's just so amazing how things line up. But being a part of that is invaluable. Like it's so much fun and it's so rewarding. But yeah, Shang is a great character. The fact though that he likes Jordan is that I've never said this I don't think, but it is very flattering to me as a role player because it's like he likes her. He doesn't want to kill her because he thinks that she's entertaining.
Which I think is, again, that charisma nat 20, that's speech plus 100. All of that.
I don't know that I like that about her, though, at times. You know, I want her to be more than whatever she is at the moment. But at the same time, the state of affairs on the city, it's, we're winding down. 4.0 is winding down.
Yeah.
And so... yeah, it is what it is.
I would argue that she is more than that, though. Like as an external observer.
It's hard with her being like an information farmer because she can't really do a lot with it. And so what she does do with it, she tries to, or I try to have her do it with, whoever. And it's kind of interesting, though. It's wild. I don't know how she's alive, though. I'll be honest there. I do not know. I don't know. Like, she should not be. Ugh. I just want to shout out someone, though, while we're here. LP.
LP! Oh,
Ben
we love
Sillyside.
LP. Bestie forever. Bestie for life.
Ben Sillyside. That is, I would say, if there is a character that is similar to Jordan, but in a different way. I don't know how else to say it. It would be Ben Sillyside. He has all of these connections with people. He's alive. He does so much with it. God, I love LP. He's so fantastic.
The way that he rolls with RP is truly inspirational, for lack of a better phrase. Like the whole. I don't know all of the meta in regards to it, but the whole like reason why he's with the clowns is like masterclass in yes-anding.
Yeah, well, Jordan doesn't know about that, so I don't have any clue about that. Yeah. But I mean, he was on another server, that and did run into him there as well, and it was just, I don't know, it was fun then to see him on another server and to kind of reminisce about the heart of Ben, because he wasn't a clown there. So that was fun, but it's just, no, I actually have a VOD of when Jordan met him the very first time, and he gave her a unicorn. He gave her the unicorn, and he was like, "Jordan, I think you're having a bad day. Let me give you your unicorn." It's when it was when he was wearing like a crop top and the shorts and stuff, and it was so good. And I think Dominic and Ashton were both there too, but she had it for so long, and he's just, I don't know. I just love that he has been someone that's been a part of her life for so long. He's just amazing. He's great.
Okay, love you, bye.
I love you. Say it back. Say it back. I love you. I love you. Jordan, I love you.
Well, we're talking about all of these truly phenomenal RPers, right?
Yes.
And I imagine we might have some people in chat or who are listening to the pod who are curious about, wanting to get into it. What advice would you give to aspiring role players?
Pace yourself. Don't try to go all out, balls out to the walls, whatever. Don't look. If you are like me and your anxiety like locks down, trying to get your character out of the apartment, just pace yourself, you know? Like, it's going to be fine. But also, don't let that hold you back. You have a story to tell with a character, and that's who's to say? The city needs that.
That's amazing advice.
Oh, please. Well, thank you. But, I just know I honestly, I waited so long to actually try to be on the server. And it was at Christmas, like I said, it was at Christmas, and I had been, in the chat of someone that was streaming. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And then literally my vocal cords locked up. So it was very odd, but I just kept going, and I was encouraged by them. So I would also like to put this out there. If I could ever be of help to anyone that is interested in doing this for whatever reason, streaming or not, please, I'm happy to help.
That's incredible. Well, with that said, you know what time it is, right?
Is it rapid fire again?
It's
or
another
no?
time for more rapid fire questions. We're just, you know what? Without any further ado, we're just gonna jump in. What is your favorite time of day?
Bruv hours, about 4 a.m. Yeah.
Favorite word?
It's 2 words. It's Bukuka Hoots. It was my arena team name, and wow.
I love that. Do you have any pets?
I do. I have a Cavachon named Penny.
Pizza topping.
Pineapple again, same as Jordan.
Ooh, vintage or new?
No.
Window or aisle seat?
Window.
Sweet or savory?
Sweet.
What's your favorite fast food order?
Jersey Mike's, pretty much anything. Get me off of TikTok, I'll put it that way.
And favorite color?
Orange again. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. Oh, can you do the Elaine dance? Spot wants to know.
I mean, I can, but look, it's as George would say, a full body dry heave, and I don't think anyone wants to see that. But yes, I can. Thank you.
I love that. What kind of activities or hobbies do you enjoy outside of RP?
Oh God.
Do we need a breather?
I'm sorry. I
was fanning the clip at you. Just fanning the clip at you.
Let me see. I like playing other games. I am pretty solitary though, honestly. Yeah, I'm pretty alone. I'm pretty quiet otherwise. So I do I have like some. This is gonna sound so lame. Like I do like embroidery stuff, like that kind of thing. I play
really?
other games though, like I said. Yeah, it's pretty. I'm pretty chill otherwise.
Mood.
Only child life,
Can't relate.
Yeah.
What is one thing that you've always wanted to try, but you've been too scared to do?
Travel more.
Anywhere in particular that you really want to travel to?
Petra in Jordan.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
History major, that's one of my go-to places. That Machu Picchu, Egypt, places like that. Places that I know that I shouldn't really, places that I don't think would be safe for me to go to. I really want to go to though. I used to want to go to North Korea badly too.
That would be fascinating.
Yes, I wanted to do a major in Soviet history, and so part of that would be to go to Russia and things like that. It's just not very advised though.
Okay, that is actually bonkers because about 7 years ago, I got it into my mind because I was a history minor with my degree, right?
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't know of that about you. Yeah, that's wild.
I didn't know that about you. Yeah.
And there was a hot second where I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Ukraine and A, learn about my motherland. A, learn about my motherland, and B, just sort of get more of that in person, upfront,
That's wild.
involvement with what's
honestly.
happening. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. People think I'm crazy though when I say that about like going to visit like North Korea. It's like, I mean, I'm not stupid. I'm not trying to like steal posters and stuff. Like, I'm not saying whatever, but yeah, I mean, it
The
is.
classic
You
mistakes.
need to know. Yeah, you need to be very careful. Obviously, I mean, but it's no. I would just love to be a witness, I guess, a party to what is going on there, to at least because they did have the borders open for about 2 weeks, I believe, and then they closed them again. Russia is not really on the table anymore. I did want to go to Russia. And then the Saban, like that's another place I could have done my master's in. But yeah, that's interesting though that you had history. See, we align.
I was going to, like, shortly after I graduated from college, I was going to go to St. Petersburg for a Chekhov workshop for like 2 weeks. And I wish I would have done it.
Crazy.
I wish I would have, like, there's a part of me that wishes I would have gone, and another part of me that's like, I'm not fluent in Russian. No, like, I can't read Cyrillic. What would I even do?
Speaking of that, Jordan getting like Russian text is crazy because nobody knew that I even was interested in that. I'm not trying to meta, but I'm just saying that that is things like that. It's interesting when things align, but yeah, St. Petersburg is.
Yeah.
Are there any other? Well, I think that was another question that you might ask me though if I had any questions for you, and I do actually.
Oh, that is coming up. We could just...
well, you go ahead. You go. I'm sorry. You go.
we could just jump to that if you want.
Well, I'm curious as to how improv has helped you with roleplay. Because and which one did you start first?
Yeah. So I just a brief a brief cursory little TLDR. I got a theater degree. Interested in performing, and I moved to Chicago because there's a bunch of different kinds of theater you can do in Chicago. There's also Second City, which is a noted improv sketch comedy place. So it was one of those things where originally I took improv classes with the hopes of enriching my improv skills, and then I just did a little bit of like a 90-degree hitch in what my performing direction was, and ended up just like investing so much more time in doing improv because I'm not gonna say I'm amazing at it, but I was good enough at it to I get paid to do it. So I'm not trying to like amp myself up here, but the more that I was doing it, the more that I kind of fell in love with that sort of spontaneous relationship that you have with your fellow performers and with the audience, and the way that it sort of stretches your muscles to think about things in different ways and think about the way that one reacts to things. Like, what is your immediate knee-jerk reaction? Like, me as a person versus, whatever character I'm trying to embody. So, in regards to, like, narrative improv stuff, long form, where, RP is the longest of long form stuff.
In a good way, and also not always,
It's one of those things where, kind of like what you were talking about before, knowing how to, like, temper yourself and sort of take your time with things, because especially when you're trying to balance, especially for people who stream RP, right, there is a lot of that like content focused. You could be streaming for X number of hours in a
This is another
day.
yeah. This is another reason why I really respect Kiwu, because that's someone
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't even look at their chat when they are role playing.
Mm-hmm.
So I am curious how others do they temper their role play based on their chat? Like how does that impact them? Because since I don't stream, I do have a hard time because I don't have that immediate gratification. I don't have that feedback. So I'm always
Mm.
surprised when people give me a positive comment, I guess, and I do appreciate it, but it's just that I'm just curious how it might weigh in as well.
Yeah, I'll admit I feel like this is probably an area that I struggle in a little bit because I approach roleplay very much as a like character study performance exercise in a way, and I know
Mm-hmm.
that is not always the most engaging sort of stuff to watch, and I try to make sure that I don't temper my RP too much based off of chat. There might be times where I'm like, everyone's snoozing. I should probably stop having my character Sag farm and do something and do something more productive. Because
No.
there's also there is also that potential hitch with like meta, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, it is.
I'm pretty strict about meta because
Mm-hmm.
even if people do like tonal expectation stuff, like, oh, be careful, even that stuff, I try to,
Yeah.
breeze out of my head because I don't necessarily want.
Yeah.
I don't want chat reactions to influence how I roleplay.
Yeah.
However, I treat it more like and I know people do this differently depending. I sort of treat it like an ongoing director's commentary
Ooh, I like
as
that.
I'm role playing. That's the best way I can describe
Yeah.
it. And I think, some of our wonderful lovelies who've been here for a while, like Spot, could probably, either agree with or disagree with that. But that's at least my goal with it because it's a fun little look into someone's performance philosophy in a way,
Yes.
which
And
which I think is real fun.
yeah. I also wanted to mention this earlier. I think that it is inevitable that every character that you play does have a little bit of yourself in them.
Mm-hmm.
And so for someone for like viewers or whatever to compliment them or to acknowledge how much they like them, whatever, it's very rewarding. I put it that way. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to say that I really do appreciate, any viewer that is even listening to this. I appreciate the support, even though I don't stream. Thank you guys very much. Um, I'm beyond blessed. Like since I've been a part of this community, it's been fantastic. It's been a great journey. Even at the worst times, it's been fantastic. I have had such an amazing time, and I can't wait to see what's in the future.
Hell yeah. Somewhat adjacent to that to a degree. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received? It doesn't have to be roleplay related.
I will say the role play related one would be to record everything,
Mm.
because it's helpful. It's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
You can go back and look at, because if you're stuck in the role play, you don't know what you're doing, and it also helps you with what like audio stuff. Because God, let me tell you, nothing makes me more mad. Oh, see, than my
Mm-mm.
audio stuff being crazy. Like
Ah!
I lose
Yup.
my mind. I get this new mic. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And then I got Rose trying to spend what 3 hours setting up voice meter. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. See, now I'm latching into Jordan, but now I'm just saying, like, it's crazy. And audio stuff is crazy, so I do get mad about that. But the other good advice that I have, which would be not role play related, as much as you want to help others, you have to look at yourself at the end of the day,
Mm.
which is hard.
It's difficult. Like, how can you take care of anyone else or help anyone if you're not taking care of yourself?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. And I
Mm-hmm.
think this is something that a lot of like hospital shows and stuff tie into. They say like, how can you help your patients if you're not of sound mind and blah 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 or whatever. But
Yep.
that is like the way that it is in real life in general.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very cogent for the circumstances that some people might find themselves in right now. That's very good advice.
Well, thank you
Incredible.
so much. Sorry, this has been fantastic.
Yeah. I have only a couple more questions from Discord if you
No.
are still able to
Oh
answer
my
them.
God. Yes, I'm so flattered that people were asking that. Seriously, I'm
This is thank
wow.
you so much for sticking around. I know this went a little longer. Hopefully in the future I'll have a better time of tempering it, but
Well, you know how. Well, anyway, now go ahead.
our first question comes from a member of the squad, Spot. What was the most surprising change in Jordan that developed since her first day
Mm.
in the city?
I said that I would quit playing her when she became jaded.
Mm.
I did not stick to that because I did not like how this is gonna sound crazy probably, which is funny for me to even say because she is crazy. I didn't like that other people kind of forgot about the deaths in the city, and I liked
Mm.
that being a part of her personality that she is so stuck on the deaths of people in the city. So I never expected that to be a thing. I never expected her to latch on like that, um, and her to be so passionate about it.
Hmm. This one comes from Firewolf Neo. Have you ever felt like you were being pulled in too many story directions? And what do you do or wish you could do to make that easier?
I have just played into her being more manic and more erratic, which I think,
Mm.
fits with her because she is in over her head in general, being in the city. Um, Otherwise, though, I think that I go back to the question about, what is her normal day in the city. She wakes up, she checks her messages, she goes, in terms of most recent messages. So she goes in that direction. So she's gonna try to navigate everything as much as she can, but yeah. So she also feels horrible, and I think that I have her play that out that she is so apologetic that she can't do everything because there are only so many hours in a day,
Hmm.
and obviously she wants to save everyone, but she just can't.
Hmm. And I guess this ties into that pretty nicely. This comes from AC Decoy, another member of our mod squad.
Love it.
Reading the note Jordan wrote while Kenny was in the ICU was so
Oh
moving.
God.
What inspired that?
What was that? I'm gonna have to see what the note was on his. Is it the note that Eliza has?
Yeah, it's the note that Eliza has.
So the lobotomy storyline was honestly the hardest thing that I've ever role played out. I'll put it that way.
Really?
That it truly was. That was the hardest thing I've ever role played out. It was crazy because I didn't expect it, and yeah,
It can be
I didn't
tricky trying
expect it.
to like role play out those heavier moments.
It is
Mm-hmm.
honestly, and at the same time, you don't want to bring everyone else down with your stuff. But I think it's important for Jordan to show emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Like that ties also in with the open mic thing, like it's that she is so open and she is so vulnerable. That's honestly the best way to put it. She is a vulnerable character.
Mm-hmm.
So with the Kenny thing, okay. It was it was jarring, I think, for her to see that, this person is going to such lengths to forget her, to be to just be basically.
Yeah.
But Jordan and Margot being friends now is crazy. I don't know. That is, that's like I never would have predicted that either. Her being
Yeah.
like, Jordan, where are you going? It's like I love Margot so much. It's just like I never would have expected the whole thing. Like it's just wild. The whole Jordan and Brandy also. It's just
Mm-hmm.
there's been so much that's transpired. But yeah, the whole note thing was to try to bring him back from whatever, and then Jordan also knew that Idol had his soul.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they don't have anything to do with each other anymore. It's just too much for her. She just can't.
Mm-hmm. And I think that just ties into what you mentioned before about, sometimes, like, naturally when you're playing in this kind of, this kind of setting, this kind of environment, this genre of roleplay, one could say,
Yeah.
it can be challenging to RP out those heavier moments because, like you said, you don't
Right.
necessarily want to, bring down the vibes for everyone, but you also want to stay true to the character to some degree.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How do you reconcile that?
I mean, I try to pace myself, honestly, but also
Mm.
so Jordan's her current love interest, her boyfriend, is very, he's very good with keeping things light. He was on public for a long time. He really likes her, and it's good. He actually won Eliza's contest for New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, the name itself trying to fill you seriously. Like, I mean, can you like that's not even normal. But no, he also like Jordan did his campaign for judge, so it was for E. Lou. But yeah, it has to be like, and then her friends that she does interact with, like I will say this. I did want to mention this. So the time that Eliza was at the pier, by the fishing guy or whatever, and she was
Mm-hmm.
having a hard time, and Jordan was actually trying. Jordan actually listened. I had Jordan listen, and all of that. I think that was a good example of what she's capable of.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she doesn't always show it in that way. But that was, I think, according to Jordan at that time, that was what Eliza needed.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of ties back to, I don't know, reading the room. It's hard, but once you find people that you role play well with, you can make some amazing stories happen.
Mm-hmm. It's all about having that trust and support with your fellow role players, your fellow improvisers.
Yes, and I think that's really why I'm interested in the improv part, because those are people that you see in person
Mm-hmm.
regularly, and it could be easy to dismiss people that just because you don't see them. They just exist online.
Mm-hmm.
Not everyone takes it as seriously, but they should. They should take it seriously.
Yeah, one important note with that is that there is, as with a lot of creative endeavors, there is a lot of bad improv and there's a lot of good improv. And sort of like, this is a bizarre equivalence to make, but sort of like finding a good therapist. There's a better equivalency, but it's the closest I can
No,
think of. It's about, finding that group of people that you just gel with, right? Whether it's a
It's
class
the
that you're
niche.
taking or it's the niche, exactly. In
Yeah.
some places it's a little easier to find than others. It really is just being willing to go on that journey of like knowing yourself and knowing how your brain works in conjunction
What you're
with
capable of,
yeah, exactly.
and what your limits are as well, what your boundaries are.
Yeah.
Because there are boundaries in role play, and I think
Yep.
that's something that not a lot of people take into account. Like that's, I never would have thought that would be something I need to think about. But yeah, there are boundaries in role
Mhm.
play, and yeah, it's yeah.
Ooh. Do you have a random question from Stemper in chat? Which, by the way, chat, quick little thing. Stemper is the originator and the brainchild behind the name for this podcast. So shout out to Stemper for coming up with the role and the player. Stemper asks, what does EP Nummies mean? Lainie, what does EP Nummies mean? Lainie, what does EP Nummies mean?
That goes back. that goes back to Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
See, Stemper has been a long-time viewer of this circle of all of us, which I think is very impressive. By the way, like I never in a million years would have thought that anyone would follow Jordan, or not follow Jordan, but just like view Jordan from different points of view.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Dominic Rose would get. I swear to God, I cannot. If he would get tired and hungry, he would say he ate up. I can't.
What is it he would say? What would he say?
He would say he's gonna kill us all for this. By the way, Stemper, are you trying to get me killed right now? He would say something about EP Nummies. Oh my God, Stemper. Stemper knows. He knows.
Incredible. Well,
no, we need to go back. Go. That needs to be your next guest, actually, and you need to ask them. Keep telling me about EP Nummies. Yes, please. And also, why did you fumble Chastity's? No, I'm sorry.
I just start weaponizing this and just inviting, legit. Okay, I'm not even joking. Legitimately, it'd be really cool to get some of the ADMC people.
It would actually.
Oh yeah, because there are a bunch of awesome role players, but that's neither here nor there. I am going to weaponize this podcast to just be toxic to people. I'm gonna have LP on and say, wow, why did you get Chastity murdered? I'm gonna
oh my God, that is crazy.
I'm gonna get Firewolf on. I'm gonna like, why did you perma Dr. Halen? It ruined everything. I'm gonna microphone Saf. Microphone Saf. I'm gonna have him on. Why did you perma Stewie ruin my fucking Monday? I'm gonna have Diego on.
Diego, why have you not met Jordan? Because you know they're gonna love each other. You know that's gonna be Jordan's next BFF.
Why are you avoiding RP? Why are you scared? Why are you scared of friendship? I am weaponizing this podcast. Here's the thing. I am going to reestablish myself as the most toxic RP streamer. That is my new goal.
This is because I don't stream. Then we would be in competition. Okay, you gotta get
okay, I'll be the most toxic RP streamer. Oh, I gotta get Ashton on.
Yes, yeah, okay. Eliza,
gotta get Sweet Gecko on.
Why did you get Jordan at the fucking vineyard when that was where her and Ashton were supposed to have gotten married?
Oh no, it's getting turned on me. Wait.
That's what I'm saying. The drama.
The consequences of my actions.
Imagine that. Imagine us ever. Imagine anyone, having to do that. That's the whole thing of all these other people. Oh my God. I will say though, the lifers, like I don't know if any of them are here or whatever, but they are amazing.
Yeah, I'm just fine here who plays Baron Von Evil.
Oh, Jordan has done him so. Jordan disappointed him as of late, but I'll deal with that later. At whatever time, I'm still. Stemper is still. I gotta talk to Stemper after that. The EP Nummies thing is hilarious. No, again, like I said, though, it's been amazing. I've had an amazing time meeting Chastity as Jordan. Like when they had the same fits and stuff. You have only ever been an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for being on the pod. We went a little long, but thank you so much for being our inaugural guest. Chat, I think we can say this is a solid 10 out of 10, right?
Oh, please.
Honestly, we could probably do this for like 7 more hours, but I won't make you do that because that would be cruelty. But before we end here, Lainie, is there anything you would like to plug?
I mean, I don't stream regularly, so no. I just thank you all so much for being supportive. I just appreciate the positive comments and chats and stuff. Thank you so much. everyone.
Absolutely. Chat, if you're not already, make sure that you give Lainie XO a follow on Twitch. If and when she ever does stream, we're gonna get that affiliate, by golly.
Yeah. Next month I'm gonna actually try. I've only got 2 more goals to hit. So yeah.
Easy. Well, chat, thank you so much for joining us for this inaugural episode of The Role and the Player, featuring the role, Jordan Akridge, the player, Lainie.
Thank you.
Y'all are amazing. We'll see you next time.